Okay, I wasn't expecting much, but damn, I was wrong. This patch is pretty legit. We've got MORIGESH, the new hero, updated visuals, a new jungle, prime cards have been reworked, and a lot more. I'll also give you a sneak peek of what's coming up in future patches. Also, if you bought a Paragon Founders Pack that contained a Hot Rod Howitzer skin, and this is going way back to when Early Access was released, then you'll also get all the Hot Rod Howitzer variants for free. Yep, absolutely free. The biggest introduction in this patch is obviously MORIGESH, but I've already covered her in detail, so check the video out on my channel or a link is down below. The jungle has been revamped. Epic say a number of changes have been made to the jungle to improve overall functionality and enhance its visuals, and damn does it look good. Jungle terrain and minion camps have been adjusted to improve player clarity, and the Amberling has been relocated as a centerpiece in the jungle. I talked about this again in my MORIGESH video, but the Amberling was in a spot that proved too easy to take advantage of, so having them move it deeper into the jungle should make stealing the enemy's Amberling more risk reward. I did break down all the changes to the jungle in my MORIGESH video with regards to the jungle camp relocation. A link is in the description below. Prime cards. Now I feel like they did need a rework because like the Archmagus and the Warlord were basically the same thing. They have new stat values and now have unified passive effects, which means that they basically all have the same passive effects. If we take a look at the Centurion first, it gives 250 health down from 500 health, while also giving us 3 unique passives. Plus 20% damage bonus down from 100%. This affects abilities and basic attacks. Restore 3% of your max health and 3% of your max mana every second if no damage has been taken in the last 6 seconds. Okay, well, it's obvious why this change occurred. It's because you would usually do all prime and then you would back and reset, getting your health and mana back, which all in all would take about 30 seconds. However, now you shouldn't have to go back unless you want to buy more card power, and hopefully this saves that 30 seconds you usually have to waste of the prime buff. The final passive is nearby friendly minions have their max health increased by 50%, which is the same as it is now. The newest thing and most interesting for me is Death Touch. All friendly ranged minions instantly kill any minion they attack for the next 30 seconds. Sounds OP as shit. I think the idea here is to encourage split pushing pressure, and while it does sound OP, I think it might be okay in reality, but it's one of those things I won't know till I try. But let me know what you think about this change. It seems pretty big and game changing. The Archmagus now gives you 30 points of power instead of 60, and the Warlord now grants 27.5 attack speed instead of 60 power, so considerable nerfs to the damage that prime cards provide, but buffs elsewhere. I think that this is a good change. I felt prime cards were damage wise just way too strong. Keep in mind that all prime cards do have the same unique passives, so really you're just picking the one you want stat wise. And while I would have loved to have seen prime cards with varying unique passives, I think we've got to wait for the card rework to see something along those lines. The next big update is to the Raptor camp. The Raptor camp no longer reinforces one at a time. Basically, they all spawn at once. The Raptor camp will begin respawning 4 minutes after all Raptor camps have been destroyed. Only after all Raptors have been destroyed will they respawn 4 minutes later. Raptor melee attacks will now only damage their primary target, and their leveling has been increased from 5 to 15. They gain a new level every 2 minutes, with each level granting 125 health. Raptors will however stop leveling after 30 minutes. The amount of CP Raptors now award has been reduced from 1000 to 800, probably to reduce the game-changing impact that they can often have. You now only get a maximum of 2400 CP or 2.4 card levels, or 2880 with the gold buff. They've also reduced the base Raptor health from 3500 to 1450, but remember that as they level, the Raptors increase in health. But this should provide teams that are coordinated in the early game to secure the Raptors relatively easy early on. Since Prime cards got reworked, it's only fair that the Prime Guardian also gets a change. The respawn time has been reduced by 60 seconds from 480 to 420. He now also levels up every 2 minutes, gaining health at each level, with his level capping at 15 just like the Raptors. The base health has also been reduced from 12,000 to 8,625, but he does gain 325 health per level. It's quite obvious to see what they're doing here. They're trying to make the Raptors and All Prime more accessible throughout the game. The Raptor pit in particular has been reworked to provide a basis for better team fights and actual contesting. Having these buffs scale alongside heroes throughout the game is a better idea because it means they're not out of reach until a certain amount of CP. You might be thinking, but the All Prime buff is pretty powerful, and if you get it early on then it's pretty much GG. Well, that might still be the case, but they did nerf the damage significantly, and the duration of the Prime buff has been reduced by 30 seconds from 180 to 150. Remember that the damage bonus is a percentage based, so the later the game is, the more damage you have, the more powerful the Prime card is. Likewise, the earlier you are in the game, the less damage you have, and therefore you don't benefit as much from the Prime card. The River buff has updated vision rules, although they don't tell us what they are, which is pretty useful. However, the River buff will now update every 2 minutes regardless of whether it had been destroyed. So for example, if there was a red buff and 2 minutes had passed and it was untouched, the buff would randomly roll again and say a black buff would be in its place. A few card updates have also taken place. Satori Cloak no longer shreds armor from structures. Stinger Boost bonus damage buff will now activate on ability cast instead of an ability hit, which is actually a huge buff, because it means you can activate with any ability, like a Twin Blast Dash or a Gideon Teleport, whereas previously it had to be an ability that actually dealt some damage or hit something. Stinger Boost will also no longer trigger on toggled hero abilities, for example Grim Suppression Mode and Narbash's Song of My People. Divine Shield now blocks Prime Guardian abilities, which I actually discovered in my Narbash video, but it only blocked the knockback, but now it'll block everything. Asher the Witch has been nerfed and the slow can now only be applied once every 2 seconds. Sorry Iggy mains. The hero changes are mostly bug fixing and polishing, but there were a few that stood out to me. Gadget Speed Gate will now become active after 0.15 seconds once it hits the ground, down from 0.5 seconds, which means that time you have to wait for the gates to deploy is significantly reduced, so you can just run straight through them. The same occurs with how it's a slow grenade. There is an activation period, but this has been reduced to 0.1 second. Murdoch's Buckshot, Move Along and Static Trap are now all quick cast abilities. If you're unfamiliar with quick cast, it instantly casts the ability unless the button is held down. Some UI changes with regards to the daily login reward. The day 3 reward has been changed from a silver chest to 500 coins. Can't complain, free coins are always good, so you can purchase loot crates and get more rep boosts, I guess. I stopped on the rampage. I know I stopped on the rampage. Don't do it! No! Don't! Why did you do it? Why? The mini-map has been updated to reflect the updated monolith map, and hero icons have been updated as well. You can finally toggle off that bullshit card messaging system. You know, the one that spams added item, completed item and discarded item in the chat window when no one cared. Yes, that can now be turned off. Thank God. Okay, that's pretty much all the changes that are really relevant. I like some of them, especially the fact that All Prime is now not only a mid to late game objective, and the Raptors became a team objective with the ability to contest. The new jungle also seems to be heading in the right direction, so the future is looking bright, and visually Monolith looks amazing. Let me know what you think of these changes below. I'm always interested to know. Speaking of the future though, 39.1 will contain UI updates, daily chest and post-match updates. You can see a screenshot here, and you can expect a blog post on Thursday for that. But we can speculate a bit and assume that we're getting daily quests as indicated by the daily quest tab, and that these quests earn you stars. You have 3 quests each day, and some reward you rep and others reward stars. If you complete all 3, you get a bonus of 10 stars. Each quest has its own weighting, so one might reward you 1 star while others could reward 3 or even more, and some of them just reward you shitty rep. You can earn chests through this system. I think you can earn stars which level up your chests, and then every 3 days you get a chest which is determined by how many stars you earned. I presume that you'll be able to level up your chest all the way to diamond. This is also the first time we'll be able to open those star chests. There is also a coming soon tab which I have no idea what that is. Also, that MORIGESH skin looks dope. 39.2 will finally give us that tier 2 gadget skin Shell Shock, which was voted on when I was at Epic HQ all the way back in August of last year. And finally, 39.3 is Revenant, the first ranged ADC since God knows when. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that thumbs up button, stay subscribed for all the latest Paragon content, expect my MORIGESH video out tomorrow and then a building guide to follow shortly. Until next time guys, peace.